It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. You know how they say, man, love is love. Yeah, harboring feelings like hearts of a villain. Focus my thoughts like a civilian, depositing millions. I see my life as an investment. My role models paved the way. I gotta make a presence. Got no time to waste the lessons, dog. My parents still working, I hate it, but that's just survival. I keep my mind intact to sidestep all of my rivals. Lo and behold that I'm living indulgent. Seizing the moments with my fam, no love is withholding. My little brother swear he wanna rap. It almost made me double back. Crapping on his style, maybe I'm too nostalgic, so I step aside. Let him live his life in his youth. Through adversity coming up, he got a right to let loose. I love him, it's unconditional. Plus I set him the standard when I did it first. Gave him the vision for it to reimburse. Now we converse, giving my all back to community. A taste of humble pie is the cure for my insecurity. It's always been a struggle for me. Hard times never settle for me. But the life that I want, feel like it's never coming for me. Hard lies in the gutter for me. Plus the life that I see, ain't nobody dealing with me. Don't nobody share these feelings with me. For the life that I need, some real ones building with me. Know the Lord ain't finished for me. Love is love, yeah. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well this Thursday afternoon. In this particular video, we're going to be getting into Kendrick Lamar and Amanda Reifer. Now, if y'all are not so familiar with Miss Amanda Reifer, you're going to have to go back to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, the hit song Die Hard, Kendrick Lamar featuring Blast, and the additional background vocals from Amanda Reifer. You know what I'm saying? And looks like they've been working on even more than just that record that they did for the Big Steppers album, because Amanda Reifer actually has her debut album on the way called The Reifer Files, and it was just revealed that Kendrick Lamar, behind the scenes, is using his pen to co-write the entire project, okay? This is a pretty big deal, man, because, you know, she's not a rapper. She's not somebody that's aspiring to be necessarily a rap artist. She's more so R&B. She does kind of dance hall, island Caribbean music. She's from Barbados. She gets a little bit of comparisons to Rihanna. So this is actually a really big deal, man, because we're about to see Kendrick expand his palette, expand his writing, and expand the sound of which we're now becoming familiar with, because she came out and did an interview with Angela Yee's show Way Up and revealed that he is a very instrumental part of this upcoming project. And I'm pretty excited about this, man, because Kendrick's been like one of the hardest working dudes in music. I know he caught a lot of flack, during that 5-year period between Damn and Mr. Morale. But it looks like he was really conditioning himself, trying to get his business right, and behind the scenes putting in hella work, you know what I mean? Because he was behind the scenes working on Baby Keem's project, which he lended a lot of writing and ideas for. He was also working with Amanda Reifer. Then, last year, what ended up happening with the Drake situation, him going back and forth, putting an album out. They say there might be another album coming from him at some point. I don't know. The tour coming up in about a month. So he's got his hand in a lot of different pots, not to mention PG Lang with, all their different partnerships, the TV commercials that they've executive produced, and it's just a lot going on with bruh. And it's all positive. It's not no negative shit. It's not no weirdo social media shit. It's not no scandalous bullshit. Like, it's all legitimate brand building, business building, music related shit. So that's one thing that I've always loved about Kendrick, is that he keeps the music first, paramount, and mostly the only thing. Now, outside of music, of course, we also know that his film is on the way. They're saying that it might be a Paramount Plus project. I don't know that to be exact. I thought that this was going to theaters, but it does look like there is going to be a release date announced soon for that as well. But I'm seeing conflicting information about the validity of what people have been talking about, so we're not going to get so far into that. But I do believe he's also acting in that, not just writing and producing it with the creators of South Park. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. But let's get into Amanda Reifer's interview where she talks about how she met Kendrick, how they initially came up with the Die Hard record, and the chemistry from creating that record is actually what led to him taking on a very important role in the development of her project and all of that. So let's get right into it.
I'm so glad to have you here. We actually just previewed last week your new song, Are You Dumb?
Thank you.
With Pharrell.
Thank you.
A nice classic Pharrell beat, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. I feel so blessed to have that beat and to be able to be on there. Like, I thank you for playing it. I appreciate it.
So let's talk about that song a little bit, and even working with Pharrell, because you've had some dream collabs already, but we'll get to that in a second. But Pharrell, how did that happen?
Oh man, it's a long story really, but after working with Kendrick and Blast on Die Hard and Soundwave and then Madahi and all of those guys, and Die Hard being nominated for Grammy and all of that, the creative energy in the room was so good that we started working on more and more records. And I co-wrote my whole album that's coming with Kendrick.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, and one of the songs that we worked on while we were working on all these on this project was Are You Dumb? And the treasure chest of tracks that we went into, and we had this track, and we were honored that that Pharrell was willing to bless us with this track and allow me to be on it as well. That's how that came about, and to be given the space as a woman in music by these prolific men to be able to write and record and to put my perspective out on a track, just really was an incredible experience that I appreciate so much. And these are legends that I admire and masters that I just have been able to get to learn from, and so having being blessed with that track during the writing process, that's like an honor I cannot even. That's God. That's really God who brought that about.
Now, before I allow this interview to play out a little bit further, they're talking about her new record, which is out right now, called Are You Dumb?, which is produced by Pharrell. It's also written by herself and Kendrick Lamar. Now, if you haven't heard it yet, when you pull it up, you're going to notice kind of a familiar sound. Y'all remember the NERD song with Rihanna, the Lemonade shit? Wait a minute. It kind of has that vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? From the bounce in the beat to the drum pattern to the flow that they kind of got her doing on there. So it puts me in that mindset. And again, Kendrick's pen is visible on there. And not only that, but if you want to get a glimpse into what they've been working on, you can also check out a previous project that she put out just in December called A Woman Now, which is also co-written by Kendrick Lamar. And he brought his production team, as she just said, DJ Dahi, Soundwave, J Pound. They worked on that and put it out in December, so you could kind of get a glimpse into what they've already been putting in. That project, for whatever reason, flew under the radar, didn't get a lot of hype. But I do believe that some of the stuff on that EP will also be featured on the album. So, she's been around in the industry for a while. She's just now kind of getting the spotlight placed back on her. And I want to make sure that y'all get acclimated to who she is outside of just the scope of Kendrick, because this could potentially be a really big thing to jump her career off in a crazy direction. So I'm gonna play some more of this interview so y'all get more in tune with who she is, what she's working on, and how all of this stuff came together. But I just wanted to let y'all know the Are You Dumb record is out. You could check that out as well.
But I think it's also a preparation meets timing type of thing.
Yes.
Because sometimes people might see what you're doing now, right? Like they might have heard you on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers on Die Hard and been like, okay, but they don't know the whole journey it took to even get to that point where you run into Kendrick Lamar.
Oh my God. It's been a long journey. You're right. You're a woman in music and look at the career and the legacy you've built and the respect that you've built, but it's not easy. It's a long road, and I'm still at the very, very beginning. And while people might be being introduced to me on these records, you know, it's been a long road to get here. You know, I used to be the lead singer of a band right out of high school or secondary school in Barbados.
Yeah. As they say.
Yeah. I was a front woman. I was of a musical band. And, you know, we had a lot of success really quickly in that time. But even as the front woman, as a lead singer, as a woman, I felt like my voice was marginalized. And, you know, it was hard for me to have any independence as a young woman to make my own decisions. I didn't have financial independence. I didn't have creative control over what I was singing and talking about, you know, essentially. And so going through that and having to find my own footing and leave a situation that I had known my whole life and move to LA and write for other people and put my head down and even
be in a pandemic.
Yeah, all of that, you know,
with like that.
Yeah, and you know, you start with nothing, like, but you really gotta have the passion and you gotta commit to something if you love it, and that's what I've done over the years. And I'm just grateful for all the experiences I've had because they've been able to give me something to talk about in these rooms,
right?
And for me to stand as a woman in my strength and my confidence and my ability, and to be able to be given the space by men like Pharrell and Kendrick to be able to put all that down into a song.
And two people I've heard those are two people I heard are very respectful to women when they work with them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, when we were working together, everybody I worked with on this album, they have really given me the space, like, to come from an environment where I was surrounded by men but not heard, to be then have to go through what I went through to get sure about myself, to then be in another environment where these prolific men say, yes, we want to hear you. This is a collaborative thing. Say what you got to say. That gave me so much confidence as a young woman and as an artist, to show up like multifaceted, to show all the different parts of who I am. It gives you the confidence to pull it out, you know? So I greatly appreciate that so much.
All those guys in the past, are you dumb?
Right? Are you dumb?
Now, I want to just jump in here because she's talking about an experience that a lot of women go through in this music industry, is being surrounded by men. And this is before, you know, working with Kendrick, Pharrell, and the whole squad over there. She's talking about when she was in her previous group, where you're surrounded by men, but you're not necessarily being heard or feeling seen or feeling like your creative input is necessarily being seen as equal, or perhaps if you have even better ideas, you know, people are not necessarily giving you that ear to say, hey, let's try it your way. Let's at least give it a go, right? I remember I was reading up on Alicia Keys, and I know Alicia Keys catches a lot of flack. A lot of people joke about her nowadays, but yo, when Alicia first came on the scene, like, she was a monumental artist. She did some crazy shit very fast. And you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I don't like to take away from people's accomplishments or diminish people down, because I don't like that to be done to me, and I don't like to do that to others, right? As much as I can possibly uphold. But I was reading about her, and, you know, Alicia first signed her first deal, I think, when she was like a teenager or something like that. And she was making music, and they wanted to put her in the studio with specific producers, and they were coming up with these songs, and they wanted her to sing about, you know, experiences that weren't really authentic to her life, and the music was coming out trash, and the label didn't want to put the stuff out, and she had to grow up, and she was having issues at home with her mom, all of these different things, right? And it took damn near till she was almost 20, 21, you know what I'm saying, an adult, to finally like get out of the deal, take her music elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? She discovered that, you know, because she already knew how to play the piano and all of these different things, and she was dabbling with production on her own. But once she got in the room with people that allowed her to like construct her own vision, is when those hit songs and those big records and the life-changing, career-changing moments that actually came. So had she never had the opportunity, which a lot of people don't, a lot of women come into this music industry and they end up, you know, in fucked up situations where maybe they're dating the producer, or maybe forced into dating the producer, or the executive at the label that's in charge of their career, and then they break up, and then they can't get access to the music, or, you know, all types of weird, crazy shit that just happens every day that people have grown accustomed to. But a lot of, for all the women that we see that make it through, just imagine how many of them are just as talented as the rest that don't get through. And it's typically 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, it's either a man holding something over them, holding them back, or they're using a woman at the label or the company as the scapegoat or as the, you know, the reason why it's not happening, but it's typically at the beck and call of another nigga. You know what I'm saying? So although this is unrelated to Amanda, it made me think of that situation because, again, had she not come into contact with Kendrick and Pharrell and these guys, and they actually gave her the validation and the opportunity to speak up and, you know, have her vision be her vision rather than what they want for her, we might not be sitting here talking about her in this moment, right? We would still possibly be wondering where the fuck she is, or we may not have even been introduced to her via the Die Hard record. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show how it just takes the right ingredients in order to actually cut through. I'm going to play some more of this.
Kendrick was smart to have you on his album. How did you guys even hook up?
So I was invited to a studio that he was working out of. I did not know he was going to be there. And so to my surprise, he was. And he, you know, he's such a gracious person. He allowed me to play him some of the records that we have been working on.
How do you feel playing records for Kendrick? Like, because I can imagine as an artist sitting down playing music in front of somebody has to be a really nerve-wracking experience.
Yes, very, very. There are a lot of nerve-wracking
experiences. Because you're looking at their face, or are you like, are they bobbing their heads? Like, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. And he's very still. So, you know, it's like, you kind of, just, you know, and no, but I was just appreciative for the air, the time he took to listen, you know, again, you know, women, we have a hard time being heard.
Right.
So just having that space was incredible. And, it gave me sort of a validation when he obviously complimented my pen, and just his time gave me a validation that I was still on the right path, you know, and that felt really good. And then to be invited to work on the album because he had a song idea that he thought would have been good for me.
And then you still don't know if it's going to make the album.
Still don't know if I did not know it was going to make the album until I heard it. I mean, I knew it was like a contender. It was going to be there, but you just really don't know.
Was Blast already on the song too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so to, like, you know, be on there as a writer and as a performer with these incredible people, that was just such an honor. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. But it's funny because it came at a time where I had been praying for a lot of help. I'd been praying to God for opportunity. I had just started working a little bit before that with my manager, who's an incredible woman, and she's a big reason why I was even in that studio. You know, a lot of the opportunity in my life has come from really strong, experienced women in my life. You know,
that's great.
So I had been praying for that, but it really came at a low point for me because I was in writer's block. I felt like I couldn't get anything done. And I prayed to God to help me get out of this, to give me opportunity, to help me show up. And of course, He sent the biggest opportunity of my life when I was at the lowest of my life.
And you know, it's interesting because you came from, like you said, you were the lead singer for Cover Drive. You left Barbados, you moved to London, right, or the UK?
I did, yeah.
And you guys kind of blew up. You were opening on tour for Rihanna.
Yes.
At that,
and our first show we played was for Rihanna's Loud.
I mean, that's crazy. Wow. That's really like an overnight success story, and then to have to leave that situation to go solo and kind of start all over again, that's not easy.
Yeah, it wasn't. For sure, that period of time, I think, made people, what people experienced through the band at that time was a very feel-good, fun. We're from Barbados, we out here making music, and that's what we presented. But what we were experiencing, and what I particularly, as the only girl in the band, was experiencing through that time was kind of, you know, hard. It was, I didn't have any financial independence. I was trying to figure out who I was as a young woman in a context which was defined by the guys around me and the people who were in control of our careers at that time.
Right.
And
I saw the manager was the drummer's mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a challenging period of time to find my footing and who I was and my voice. I feel like every young woman should be afforded the opportunity to speak their perspective and really talk about their experiences and learn and be able to make their own decisions, because that's how you build confidence in life, you know.
Sometimes I think also people get jealous because always the lead singer gets the most attention.
Did you record this album in Barbados, or did you do it here over?
So the album, The Reifer Files, that's coming this year. We did that in LA.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's done.
That in LA. It's done. Angela, listen to me, Brian.
Yes.
Sorry, I know you're not supposed to use it first.
Sounds like my mom.
You know?
Brian.
Sorry.
Flashbacks.
No, so this album, it's been ready for 3 years.
What?
Wow.
Yes. Right off of the heels of writing and recording Die Hard, because the creative flow is so good in the room. We just kept going and writing, and we've written a 17-song project. I co-wrote the whole thing with Kendrick Lamar, produced by Soundwave, most of it, Dahi, and you know, Pharrell on this beat in particular too. And this album's been ready for 3 years.
Woman Now, that's from this.
Woman Now is a part of that as well. And I'm just so relieved and excited to be having it come out this year, because it's been frustrating, and I've been angry sometimes, sad sometimes, felt demotivated that I've had this project and not been able to have it out in the world as yet. So now to finally have that moment, to be here to start releasing it, is like now day one starts. Now the work starts. Like I got a long road ahead, but at least we're going.
Is that the Kendrick?
So she says this project has been done and locked in for 3 years already. You know what I'm saying? So this was done pretty quickly, almost immediately after Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers came out. And they've just kind of been sitting, well, I won't say sitting on it, because a lot of business had to go into it. I think she was in some, she was independent at one point. I believe she did like a short-term deal, maybe a single deal with Sony BMG for a minute. I think she also was on another label for like a couple single projects, but now she's over at Atlantic and locked in. The Woman Now project, which I alluded to earlier and that they just spoke about, was released through Atlantic. So it seems like that's the situation that she's locked in with now. And she's about to get into, you know, also talking about the process of, you know, having to find a home for the project. And of course, Kendrick has had a lot going on himself since the completion of that. And I'm sure he had a vision board of how he wanted all of this thing to go. And it really sets her up, because he's hot as motherfucker. I would say fish grease, but he's hotter than fish grease. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what type of acid we talking about, but it's acid. It ain't no grease. You feel me? He's the nigga right now. So anything he puts his hand on, anything he touches, associates himself with, is gonna get buzz and at bare minimum some attention and a curious eye by proxy. So I'm just hoping that they're able to deliver on it. You know, and she's a unique artist within her own right. I hope people don't try to compare her to like the standard of, oh, she needs to be the next Rihanna or she needs to be the next SZA or anything like that. Like, allow her to go through her process. But I am excited to see what is going to end up coming out of all this. And I hope it's great. You know, I don't want them to drop something that's not well received and then it doesn't, you know, yield into great results for her, because I think she could be a career artist, you know what I'm saying? But of course, that's going to come with the execution. Hopefully Atlantic doesn't drop the ball, because it's going to be on them ultimately. That's the label.
Influence taking your time and being patient and like
I am not an inherently patient person. I will tell you, girl, the patience I have had to learn and practice over these 3 years.
But is that hit? Because I know that's how they are. Like, I know him coming from the TDE camp, it's always like a timing, be patient. And then Kendrick doesn't just drop stuff, well, until it was diss track time. But before that, it's not like he just throws things out. Like, some people will be like, okay, let's put this out. We're going to put out 3 projects this year. He's not like that.
No, he's not.
And so what was the delay for you? Was it like, what was the plan?
The the delay for me, I think, was, again, is timing, and it's God's timing. So things happen how they happen. But I had to find a home for the project. We had to then consider all the timings of things. It's just a lot of that was beyond my control.
Okay.
And I think that was the hardest pill for me to swallow, because I had this music that I have been so ready to share, but it's beyond my control. And I had to spend that time preparing, because I know it's going to happen, you know? So that's actually a lot of that time I spent filming a lot of homegrown visuals for the project as well, because I told you I love visual arts.
Yeah, and it looks amazing. Everything that you've done.
Thank you.
I mean, and I love seeing like just the videos. It looks like you're back at home in some of them.
Home in all of them. Yeah. Most of them.
Yeah.
Like I went home to do that. I worked with local creatives because I really wanted it to be from Bajan perspective. I didn't want it to come in
those
and
visuals.
Thank you. We met, some of the ones that are out already. We went to spots that we grew up on. Hot legendary fish cakes. You go there in the morning before school, you know. We're in the country with the bike men, and we filming, and all of this is to come. But working with Kwesi, who's a director in Barbados, but I direct as well, so we co-directed all these visuals. And I really wanted to just bring home and that authenticity to this music, because the music really deserved that authenticity in the visuals as well, because the music is that, you know. And even though I've treasured these songs for 3 years and they're finally coming out to light, finally, thank God.
What's the date?
I can't give the album date yet, but it's coming this year.
So yeah, man, that's Amanda Reifer with her Angela Yee Way Up interview. Shout out to B-Dot for having a cameo in there. He's also from Barbados, or at least his family is. But yeah, be sure to check out Are You Dumb by Amanda Reifer, produced by Pharrell, written by Kendrick. If you listen to that record, you could hear his DNA all through the song. But also, if you go back and listen to the song Woman Now, which is from the Woman Now EP that I've been talking about the whole time, you also hear like some ad-libs and some background vocals from Kendrick Lamar, although he's not credited as a vocalist on the song. So he also is on there. And again, that came out December 12, 2024. My favorite song from the EP is called Colonize. So, yeah, man, this ain't no advertisement or nothing like that. But since we talking about her, might as well talk about what she has out. And be sure to let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to let me know what y'all think of Are You Dumb, the Woman Now EP and everything. And let me know how y'all feel about Kendrick Lamar, you know what I'm saying? Full on in his executive phase, back to the music, lending his pen behind the scenes, and all of these different things that he's got his hands in, all right? Again, be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like Soldier Rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden, they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.